Welcome to Jollof and Fiction, home of African literature and stories, the kind that warm your heart like a fresh pot of jollof. Today, you're tuning into a recorded session of our online book discussion, so sit back, relax, and join the conversation.
Someone said something about, Barnabas, your opinion sounds like you want us to cut off English completely. I am not certain what Moku's intention is, but I am assuming that she's trying to advocate for literacy in our native languages, which I agree with. Because most of us are literate in English, but illiterate in our native languages. I saw a video once which actually caused me to pause and go, interesting. Someone was like, oh, his daughter can, because he was telling a friend of his that his daughter can basically like speak parts of Chinese, but like she can't write or do any other thing in Mandarin. The language is Mandarin. I don't know why I said Chinese. She can't write or any other thing. And the person basically went, oh, so your daughter is illiterate then. And it's caused this kind of visceral reaction. But then you realize that in the way languages are used, technically, yes, his daughter is illiterate in that language, because though she can speak it, she cannot quite like do any other thing with it. There are people like that in Nigeria, in the sense that some people can say English phrases or sentences, right? But they are not fully literate in the language. And because of how like Nigeria is structured, we tend to think that they are stupid, they don't have sense, or they're illiterate or whatever. But if you check it, this person might be very, very knowledgeable or literate in their native tongue. So by its very nature, English being the language that is the default for a lot of literature is exclusive to them. There are people who may not be able to read an English book fluently, but they can read an Ibibio. I live in Akwa Ibom State, right? They can read an Ibibio Bible. So the problem is not they cannot read this language that is quote unquote the major language. What I am saying, what I am advocating for, I don't know what Moku's advocating for, is that we should be advocating for more people to write in indigenous languages, because we need to include other people other than ourselves. Currently, we are thinking in the sense of, oh, I will not be able to read this thing because it's going to be a different language from what I understand. But you're not thinking of other people who understand different languages. There are people who do not have enough exposure to things simply because it is not like written in a language that they can comprehend. So first of all, the target audience is the people who speak these languages. That's number one. Number two is we're trying to preserve the damn languages. Like, if you go, Moku said on the call that if you go to Germany, for example, they are teaching their lessons in German. Like, they are also, obviously, there will probably be English courses if you want to take them, right? So you can learn two languages side by side. We're not saying that everybody in Nigeria has to learn every language in Nigeria. That is not realistic. I know a few polyglots, and that is very fascinating, but it is not realistic for a lot of people. Yeah? But let's say we live in Akwa Ibom State. The major language I grew up around was Ibibio, even though there are all other like variations of the languages, Anang, there's Efik, all of that, right? The region you live in, let them teach the language, then also teach English. There is no reason why the first language you learn is English and then every other language is discarded. That is the problem, the way our own language is discarded, which is why I feel like I am advocating for, let there be native literature. Currently, I am from Edo State. I grew up learning how to speak English. I can only say a few phrases in my local dialect, because not only was it frowned upon in school to speak the local dialect, but at home, nobody was interested in teaching me, because to know your local dialect is to be illiterate. Basically, it feels like you are illiterate. And that is because of like the way everything is framed in society. So I feel if we could make more advocacy for like local literature in our local dialects, it will help like create awareness for these languages, number one. Help the people with consider quote unquote illiterate to have access to books that they can read and materials they can engage in. And it can also encourage young people to actually want to learn their languages, because it's like, oh, this thing isn't currently accessible to me. I can actually just try and learn this specific language. And again, linguists exist. They can translate these things. Will it be difficult? Will it like things are going to be lost in translation? Yes, I am very much aware of that. My mom studied French linguistics. So I get it, because I've seen her working on translations, trying to piece together different things, and it is very fascinating, and I agree it is very frustrating, and things will always be lost. But we can't say that because something is going to be lost, we won't even try at all to like see the different workarounds that can exist. That's basically my opinion. Sharp.
Don't forget to hit the follow button and tap on the notification icon to stay updated. That's all for today's episode. To join our book club or stay updated on future discussions, follow us on Instagram and X at Jollof Book Club, Jollof with a double F. And thank you so much for listening.